For the last 3 years, I have had the absolute joy of getting to be with my son as he has started his little league journey, starting at T-ball the first year and then the last 2 years in AAA and then in AAA again this year. And I was honored enough to be asked to help with coaching again for this upcoming season, which is really cool because I didn't have that. My dad was around, but he was never my coach. So I never got to have that shared experience of having my dad around and with that. And so there's just something so pure, so good about um, youth baseball. I don't know how to say it. I don't know how to phrase it beyond it is there's just something about it where you just have kids playing baseball for the love of the game. They're just doing it because they're enjoying it. They just want to play ball. And it was interesting because tonight when they were talking and it was the very first practice of the season and seeing all these different kids and some of the kids, a lot of kids watch baseball, have their favorite teams, but a couple of kids are like, I don't even watch baseball. I just enjoy playing it. And I think there's just something that is just so unique about it. There is um, baseball at its natural essence. Little league baseball is probably closest to the baseball I grew up with in so many ways. There have been so many rule changes in Major League Baseball over the years. It's like with pitch clocks and all these different things. Little League Baseball, there is no pitch clock. It is just the same old original baseball going that has been played for well over 100 years, and it's just kids playing a sport that has just been passed down from generation to generation. They play, they get frustrated, they get life lessons, they learn. There's just so much about it, but there's so much I love about just having been involved over the last few years. And I mean, literally starting with my son, like teaching him how to play baseball, even before that, just doing some of the basics in the backyard, and then seeing him to the point now where he has that confidence to go up. And even though he knew no one on his team this year, in previous years, other than his first year, of course, but in previous years, he's known people on his team. And this year, he doesn't even know anyone, doesn't know the coaches, doesn't know any of the kids. It's all brand new. He's played against some of these kids, but not in a way that he's ever gotten to really know them in any sort of, true deep sense of the word or anything like that. And just being able to see him, and yet they all speak the same language. They all they all speak baseball, and I think there's just something so cool about that. And I don't know, because it's like it bridges this gap, and it bridges baseball bridges economic gaps, it bridges racial gaps, it bridges so many things. And I know this is kind of sounding maybe Field of Dreams like, but there is just something that is just so pure to me about seeing kids go out and playing baseball, playing for the love of the game. There's no money, there's no NIL deals, there's no contracts, there's no free agency. It's just kids and who end up just getting placed on a team together, and they just go out and play. And that's it. They go out to play baseball together. And I just really love it. And I get so romantic about baseball, and I get so excited with baseball season starting. And yeah, by the time September, October gets here, it's like, oh yeah, there's teams that are well out of it. But there's just this thing, the first day of the season, everybody has a chance. It was cold. It was 48 degrees and raining, and there was not one kid complaining about being outside in the temperature. Us parents and siblings, yeah, we were all cold and doing that, but they're just out there and they're just playing baseball, hitting balls, hitting off the tee, hitting some live pitching, playing catch, doing a little base running, just getting out there. And it's just it's a thing, and it's going to be starting all around the country, over the next month or so. and maybe even 2 months. Some of these northern states don't really start baseball till like March, but we're in Florida, and there's just something, I don't know, like I said, something just so romantic about baseball itself. And I think the purest form of baseball is this little league time. It's kids, they want to play well. They talk about their stats. They know those things, but ultimately it's not anything of major significance. There's no scouts, there's no one recruiting them, and I'm making sure that I'm enjoying and really trying to soak in every moment of this, because I know at a certain point in time, obviously, if there's either one or two things are going to happen, right? Either my son's going to keep playing baseball and it'll get more and more serious, or he'll stop playing baseball and it will be over. And both of those, like, yeah, I don't even want to think about those things right now. And so I just, yeah, there's just something about it. It's, and like I titled this, for the love of the game. And I just, there's just something about it. And even when I coach, and I get to step out on that field, like, you feel like a kid again, and like you wish you could go back. You wish you could just go back to what it was like when you were a kid walking on the field. And of course, I know and understand baseball so much better now than I did as a kid. And but it's too late, and that's one of the things I've always told the kids too, is you never know what it's going to be, if it's going to be, or when it's going to be your last season. So go out there and play your heart out, give it your hardest, push yourself, because as you get older, just every year, a few more kids drop, a few more kids drop. It's a few less, it's a few less. So go out there and give it your all now and build those memories. So Midnight, hello. Savage Batman, Kaylee, hello to all of you. Midnight saying, so many amazing memories playing Little League. Yeah, I played for, I don't even know how many years. I played up until probably about 10 or 11 years old. And then the game just got too fast for me, and I wasn't willing to put in the work um, to be able to keep up with it. And so it was like, I don't even remember, like, looking back, like, I don't remember times deciding, like, "Hey, I'm not gonna play baseball this year," because I look back, I'm like, there's no way I would have said that. There's no way I would have ever said that, but I did. At some point, I just decided, whether I was too scared or whatever it was, whatever it came, and made that decision that I was gonna give up baseball. But, like, I never even played it in, junior high, never played it in high school. Did a practice with my college team for like a couple of weeks and decided not to go back. But yeah, there's just something so great about it. So anyway, if you've got any memories of sports in general, but as I guess specifically baseball, I'd love to hear them. Whether you're watching live or on replay, welcome to A Side of Hustle. This is YouTube's smallest: New York Mets, Miami Dolphins, Miami Hurricanes, and maybe we'll even throw in their Little League channel tonight, just being a little bit romantic about baseball. Hello, Lisa. How are you doing tonight? Hello again from the other stream on the other channel. So I appreciate everybody coming out, but I'd love to know. I actually played catcher quite a few years, and then I do remember this, when the pitching got too fast, and I was not tough enough to handle catching really, really fast pitching. Oh, you played all the way through high school. Awesome, Midnight. What positions did you play? So I was mostly outfield. Um, I did do some softball, like in my high school years. I did like some, rec league softball stuff. Played a little bit of first base then, but I always loved the game. I love the strategy of it. I loved thinking. Like, when you're in the field, you're constantly thinking and making adjustments as to one step this direction, as to where you think the ball is going to go, or different things like that. And anyway, it was always a lot of fun, and doing that. So anyway, wanted to do this. Wanted to just give a few minutes for anybody to just share, if you're involved in coaching. um, you know if you still have that love for baseball, get involved. Either become a coach, become an umpire for a little league, something like that. Be involved in some level of it. I just think that it would be it's really cool. I would almost feel like, I don't know how to say it, but I do. I just feel like a kid again when I get to go out on the field. When I, it's like just there's just something about that dirt beneath your feet, and just something really cool about it. So, yeah, like that's the thing. Okay, played first and pitcher. Yeah, I mean the coaches can make such a huge difference, and we've had good coaches over the years. And first year I was kind of one of the main coaches. The last 2 years I just was kind of like an assistant to the assistant coach. But we had a guy who's been coaching for a lot of years, and it was really good. Built a lot of good skill set in, um, and it was nice because I saw it today. I'm like, okay, he looks like he fits on this team. You know, he wasn't the hardest. He was probably hitting about fifth hardest ball of the kids on the team. But his catching was there, his throwing was there, his running is there. It's like he's turning into a good all around player. But yeah, bummer. So Savage Batman, you played football in high school. You did a thing on your Dolphins rebuild. I think you said something about the '72 Dolphins, right? Doing that. For right now, I just use iMovie, Kaylee. That's how I edit my stuff right now. I just use iMovie. That's what I learned on, and at some point I need to do something. And then for making my thumbnails, I use GoDaddy Studio because again, that's what I have. So awesome, and thank you for liking and sharing the stream. Would appreciate for everybody if you're watching this on replay as well. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, it would help us out so much. We're at 49 subscribers, trying to get to 50, trying to unlock vertical live streaming, and hopefully soon because I want to be able to do some vertical live updates when I am out and about working throughout the day. But we're trying to put out a lot of content, shorts, long form, trying to get something new on this channel every single day. With football season winding down, we're going to be focusing a lot more on baseball, but we'll still interject bits of news and notes as well. I'm getting tired here for sure. Okay, you won Super Bowl 72. Gotcha. Gotcha. So not 72 Dolphins, Super Bowl 72, which I don't know how many years out that is. It's like in 15 years away, right? I'm like 57 or something like that right now. I don't know what year it is. Awesome. Well, anyway, I just wanted to share. Oh, wait, 12 years away, 2037. Just wanted to share with you just kind of my love, my encouragement to you would be, if you have kids or you have grandkids or whatever, and try to get them to play at least one season of baseball. There's nothing better than that. And if you do get kids that get involved with baseball, find a way to coach or umpire or join a board of directors or something. Find a way to get involved because it is so cool. It literally, like when you get on that field, and that's true in all sports, but I feel like especially in baseball, all that matters is how you play the game. Doesn't matter where you come from, doesn't matter which neighborhood you live in, doesn't matter who has the professional trainer versus who's just grinding it out on their own at home. Everything is equalized on the baseball field, and just whatever team plays best is best. Jonathan, how's it going? Appreciate you so much. Thank you for hanging out with us. I'm just talking. My son just started his little league season today, so just talking about the love of that. Yeah, absolutely. Team sports in some way. And there's so many sports that are getting cut for for kids, or they're just low. They're low. They need people to recruit. They need people to coach. My son switched leagues this year because we moved, so we're in a new league. It's still in the same town, but in a different. Our town is broken, has like 6 different little league leagues, distinct leagues that are all zoned. So he's in a new league, but his old league, they don't even have enough kids to get 2 full teams out of. And last year they had 3 teams. This year they only have 2, and not even 2. They have like 15 or 16 kids, which is like too big for one team, but not big enough for 2 teams. And so there's just help. A lot of these youth sports organizations, they need help. And there's so many people and I get it. Being an umpire or a referee in these youth sports is not always the greatest thing. It's the world we live in, and I know doing that, but it's pretty tame at the little league level, and I would imagine pee-wee football would be relatively tame. I mean, yeah, there's probably always going to be like that one parent, like that's what it is. But just get involved if you can. And even if you don't, maybe just go to a game and go buy a couple of concessions to support a league. Or if you own a business, go sponsor it. Go sponsor it so some kid can play who wouldn't be able to afford to play otherwise. Something like that. Yeah, team sports and gym class. Like, yeah, right. Just do it. And like I said, for me personally, I'm just so romantic about baseball, and there's just something about seeing these kids. My son, he's 9 years old, right? So he's in AAA. He's the level below the level that you see on ESPN for the Little League World Series. That's primarily 11 to or 10 to 13-year olds. 10 to 13. He's in the 8 to 10 division. So basically, when you're 10, you can either be the big fish in the little pond or little fish in the big pond. Um, and in fact, there's actually a kid who's just must have just turned 11 on his team, because I think it's based on the school year or something like that, like your age as of September or something. So he's a big kid. Like, I'm glad he's on our team for sure. But yeah. So he just started, and it was cold, but just no complaining. Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. Well, Florida won the Little League World Series for the first time ever last year, and that was actually the first assignment that coach gave to the kids was go watch the final the final inning of the Little League World Series last year, where I believe it was Lake Mary, Florida won, and you hate the pitching mound. There's always a huge hole. Yeah. So I noticed today on the field, what other than pitching, Jonathan, what else did you play? I was a catcher primarily, and then some outfield. Um, but I noticed today the pitching mound that they had there was like it was like it's like a fake pitching mound. I don't know how else to say it, but it was like just a movable pitching mound, so then it would never get a dent in it. Maybe it would get a hole in it at some point. So catcher and pitcher. Hey, well, if you want to be involved with baseball, those are two of the best positions: catcher, pitcher, first base. Like, pitcher touches the ball every single play, catcher touches the ball most of the plays. So yeah, it's probably just, and I don't know, maybe it was just out because it's practice too. They might, you know, I don't know how much they want to be grooming a field for. I mean, there's probably kids playing on there every single day starting now. So I think the part of it is just being ready to adjust to everything. A pillow for a pitching mound, yeah. And you also have to wear a pillow under your chest protector if you're a catcher. So, well, again, to everybody watching live and on replay, this is YouTube's smallest New York Mets, Miami Dolphins, Miami Hurricanes, and Little League channel, just covering sports. We'd appreciate a like and a subscribe. Just help us get the word out. We're on our way trying to get to 50 subscribers, and we're going to be covering lots of baseball, from a Mets fan perspective, but we'll cover this, and but just yeah, for the love of the game. So um I wish, there are definitely times where I wish I could just like go back in time and just go tell my little 8-year-old me, like, go enjoy this, like don't stress about it, like get better, work on it, work harder. I would have told myself, work harder than you're currently working on it, because I just didn't. Like, actually listen to the coaches, understand, ask questions, get better. I couldn't hit worth a lick of beans. I could bunt, but I couldn't hit. That was probably also part of it too. Part of me not sticking with baseball over the long time. So, um, so yeah. Anyway, that's just kind of sharing my love of the game. If you guys have any other little league stuff that um, you want to talk about, then for sure let me know. But my encouragement: find a way to get involved, support youth sports in some capacity, even if you can't handle being an umpire or a coach, or maybe you don't have kids, so you'd be kind of like weird being a coach without having kids. And I get it, but volunteer in some capacity. And yeah, for sure, midnight. I adopted a lot of poor eating habits and poor physical health habits then, that still paying for now. So I've already got my son doing just some really lightweight, but like basic weightlifting, like 3-pound weights or whatever. Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I always had good instincts in the field. I they always said when I was in baseball, they were like, keep your eye on the ball," but I didn't really understand what it meant. Like, I just would swing without looking. Um, I don't think they pay. I mean, maybe some leagues they do. I've never been paid in all my little league coaching. Umping pays. I think they get paid like 50 bucks a game for umping, which is not bad because it's like 2 hours, so it's like 25 bucks an hour for umping. Hobby bias. Yeah. Just swing at everything. Yeah, well, I remember times being afraid to swing, but I could bunt and I could take a hit by pitch. I led the league in hit by pitches one year. I think I got hit by pitch like 13 times in like a 10-game season. Like I stepped into everything. Like I ain't getting on base otherwise. So I didn't do it. But I could sacrifice bunt, really not bunt for base hits, but I was good at sacrifice bunts and I was good at getting hit by pitches. That's funny, Jonathan. Yeah. Swing first, ask questions later. So I appreciate you. Thank you for letting me just share my love for just baseball in general. But yeah, there's just something so cool about it and seeing these kids. And he's on a team. Some of the kids that are on his team were on the team that won the regional, I don't know what to call it, like the local championship of among all the areas. So like last year, my son's team got knocked out in like 2 games. Well, some of the kids on his team this year were on the team that won it all. So they actually got rings too. They got championship rings, which I think is really cool. Vitalik, good evening to you. Appreciate you hanging out here with us. Yeah, exactly. I think sometimes you get a chance to umpire 2 games in one night, so you could just go out and make $100. I don't know what sort of training you need. I'm not familiar enough with that to know exactly how that works. But yeah, no, I mean, there's a side hustle thing in there as well if you really want to. Yeah, shortstop is. I always like first base. When I did like slow pitch softball, that was like in my high school, late high school and early 20s. I did a little bit of slow pitch softball and that was pretty cool. And yeah, you have to see. But I mean, I know there's a need. I know there's a need for umps a lot of places because there's a lot of places that it's hard to find umps because there's just lots of you do take some junk from parents. It's just the way it is. So, but yeah, no. So I mean, I got to fill out an application, but they gave me kind of like the official invite because they only have 2 coaches right now, and they like to have 3. You're allowed 3 in the dugout. Even in tournaments, you're allowed 3. So he asked me, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to be there most of the time anyway. And I just said, I'm not going to be able to make every single one. There's going to be a few practices where I'm going to have to be out delivering or whatever. Just the nature of my life right now. But he was good with it, so I'm going to fill out the paperwork, and it'll actually be my first year on an official coaching. The last 2 years, like I was saying, I was assistant to the assistant. So like I was like coach number 4 or 5. So I'd help out with practices, but game day I wasn't always allowed to be in there. Well, then all you have to do is hit home runs now, right? Because they don't even make you around the bases in slow pitch. Like I get it saves time, but man, it's coming from someone who's never hit a legit home run in his life. I would so want to round the bases for that. So anyway, that's kind of just hopefully you guys helps you reminisce a little bit of your glory days of playing youth sports and different things. And like, yeah, I know. I had that one of my little league. I had the same coach almost every year in little league. Like the first 3 or 4 years was the same coach, and then one year I got on a different team and I made it through, but I didn't like it. And then I went back to the original coach the next year, and so I know that coaching thing can be there. And the good thing is there's some really good videos out there. Coach Rack, uh, I forget his name, but Coach Rack is what he goes by on YouTube. He's on the Savannah Bananas. He does lots of good training videos, and Coach Ball Game. He actually does lots of coaching videos. Like teaching coaches how to coach. So there's lots of good information out there, and so if you're interested in those things, I'm sure there's lots of good videos out there on little league umpiring. And my guess is you probably got to do some basic paperwork and some tests to prove your basic knowledge of the rule book. But I think the bar is pretty low. I think the bar is pretty low for umping, and I think the need is there. And at least, I mean, maybe not every little league, but and I'm using little league because that's what my son is in. But I know there's Cal Ripken baseball, there's Babe Ruth baseball. Like I know there's other leagues. I'm just using the little league as kind of the generic. Okay, I'm I'm thinking that I'm thinking my son will get some chance to pitch this year, but he is a lefty, so his options are kind of limited. Yeah, it would be cool. I think that maybe something like that is coming. I mean, you do get bits and snippets of it, when they do mic up players in the field, and I think that's cool to have that accessibility. But I mean, obviously there was no YouTube when I was a kid, but I mean, you would have had to buy like a VHS cassette for like 19.99 plus shipping and handling to even get anything like that. Yeah. Well, it's like that in Little League too. My goodness, you see some of these kids are so wild, but it's just part of the process. Part of the process of learning. What are the odds? I don't know. Depends on how much content you produce, Savage Batman. You gotta figure out your niche, figure out your avatar, and like that's your target audience, and just really just figure out who that is and double down on that. F1 allows fans to follow drivers. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, I always liked that. I think that was one of the things that because I got into car racing for quite a while, like back in the Dale Earnhardt, Jeff Gordon days, um, and always thought it was so cool when they would like either let you hear in on the team communications from driver to pit crew, and so like the more accessibility they do, the better, um, with all this stuff. So, hey, that's yeah, that's how you fool them. So that's how you do it. So. Yeah, well, and that's part of it'll just be figuring out Savage. So that's really all I have. Thank you for letting me share that tonight. We're gonna keep trying to build the content on this channel. We'll have my picks for the NFL this weekend will be coming out in the next day or two. I know Tom Grassi is planning on releasing scripted tonight. It's gonna be late, he said, like between 12 and 1. So it's gonna be pretty late. So I know not all of you will catch it, but it'll be up for you in the morning. So if you're following along with that series, but that is so cool, yeah, to do an immaculate inning. Who am I? Okay, so I'm cheering for I don't know who I'm cheering for. I'm cheering yeah, well, so I'm definitely cheering for Washington to win it all. But I'm a Dolphins fan, so I hate the Bills, and I'm also sick of the Chiefs. So I don't really know what I'm rooting for there. And then I haven't even really made up my mind on who I'm picking yet. But I'm actually highly tempted to pick the Commanders. I'm leaning Commanders at this point for my pick. I'm definitely rooting Commanders, and I'm leaning Commanders for the pick. And then I don't know if I can pick against the Chiefs. It I don't know. No, I can't. I'm probably just rooting for I'm rooting for the NFC in the Super Bowl anyway, so I don't really care. I probably care less about that game than most people do because I hate the Bills so much. Like I can't root for the Bills. So, but picking, yeah, I think they're both. My gut says it's going to be Chiefs Eagles, but I can see any combination. I can see them all being possible. Um, so yeah, we'll see. I could, yeah, Bills Eagles might be what I end up picking. I don't know. Chiefs Eagles, Chiefs Command. Like I can see an argument for anyone. I'm not a betting man, so I would not want to be betting on any of the games this weekend. So temporary Bills. I don't know. I just I don't know if I can do it at all. So, well, hopefully we'll be to the 50 subscriber by the time the games come around, and then I can do a vertical live stream on that. Anyone but Taylor Swift to win. Yeah. Well, and I don't want the Bills or the Chiefs to win, so I'm rooting the NFC, which is weird because I usually prefer to root for the AFC as an AFC guy, but I'm given no choice. I'd be the same way if it was like Bills Patriots, or Jets Bills or Jets Patriots, or I can't root for any of the AFC East teams other than the Dolphins. Anybody else other than that and the Chiefs, I don't care. Like I don't think you could name one other AFC team other than the three other AFC East teams and the Chiefs that I would root against. I'd be good for all of them, but I don't know. I don't know how much. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to see the Bills win the Super. I don't. They get to the Super Bowl, they can win it, and if they win it, that's just going to tick me off. So, so all right. Well, with that being said, thank you guys so much for hanging out. We do have some new content up on the channel, and but I appreciate you being with it. Please hit that like and subscribe on the way out if you haven't done so far. But yeah, this is Metropolitans, YouTube's smallest New York Mets, Miami Dolphins, Miami Hurricanes, and Little League channel. So appreciate you guys all so much. Have a great night. Talk to you soon.